Alright, welcome to another video of Vinyl Addict, and today is going front to back, track by track with Twisted Sister, Stay Hungry, and Quiet Riot, Mental Health. Two classics from the early 80s, 83, 84, and a little background about this. This is the first album of heavy rock album in the 80s to hit #1 on the billboards. So there's a triumph with this album here, and let's get to the bottom of this. They both have 10 tracks, and so round one we got on this album we have Mental Health, the title track, and the title track on this one is Stay Hungry. Now, Stay Hungry is a song that they wrote, or Dee Snider wrote for Arnold Schwarzenegger. This is dedicated to Arnold Schwarzenegger. And it sounds very like a 80s film montage song, when if you watch these 80s movies where things are falling apart, but then they start kind of like, working together, and they got this motivating song, Stay Hungry, and and it kind of sounds like that, kind of cheesy, whereas Mental Health, this is revisiting this album and hearing this, and from the very first song in Mental Health, all I have to say is that the rhythm section of Rudy Sarzo on bass and Frankie Banali is awesome, because you see Rudy Sarzo in all these bands all the time, like whether he was in the Blizzard of Oz band, and he was on the record on the second cover of Diary of a Madman, but he's not playing on it, or he's in Whitesnake and he's not on the album, but he's just always on the video. But here he's playing, and really hearing him, and he sounds really good, especially with this drummer. It was awesome. And so you hear a lot, in this album, where it's just, the vocal melody is just on top of that bass and drums, and he's just grooving along. He's and just like the title track. And I'm going with Mental Health on that one. It was just great hearing that again, and yes, better than the 80s montage film song, Stay Hungry. Now, second, round two, we got We're Not Gonna Take It and Come On Feel the Noise. These are the big hits off this album, and they kind of both start off the same. They got the little drum beat, and then they got the chorus melody, We're Not Gonna Take It and Come On Feel the Noise. Come On Feel the Noise is a cover song for them, so they're going back to the 70s with Slade. We're Not Gonna Take It is an original piece. And the only thing about with their intro is that they got some cowbell on their little beat. So because of that, they win. So Twisted Sister, We're Not Gonna Take It. Now round three is Don't Wanna Let You Go, and that's by Quiet Riot. And we got the song called Burn in Hell, which is a heavy rocker, and it's sort of, it's very kind of Alice Cooper-ish, the way he's, the intro and the premise of the song of just, just it's someone who just feels like they have no redemption, and they're just, they're on their way. If there's a pitted place in hell, that's where they're going. Whereas Don't Want to Let You Go, again, it has that cool rhythm section, and it's very melodic. That's one thing I was finding out about this Quiet Riot album, revisiting it again. So melodic, and so I'm taking that one, Don't Want to Let You Go, which is round four. We got Slick Black Cadillac by Quiet Riot and Captain Howdy, which is a part one of a two-part song. So the first one here is Captain Howdy. Slick Black Cadillac, it has like these, the intro is just vocals, and it's just like a Queen it's very much a Queen homage. You know, they're overdubbing the vocals with the with the chorus vocal, the chorus melody line. You know, just like Queen does on Fat Bottom Girls. You know, they start off the song with just the chorus, and you hear all these voices. You know, a wall of sound of just overdub vocals. They do the same thing with Slick Black Cadillac, and it's not to the point where it's just like, oh, it's just like you're blatantly copying them. It sounds, but it seems like this Quiet Riot pretty much wears their their influences on their sleeve, and they will revisit more kind of Queen stuff in this album, which is remarkable. And so I found that was really cool about it. The Captain Howdy song, it was a song that they wrote for Stephen King. So there's a lot of things that they're just kind of writing and dedicating it to people, whether it's Arnold Schwarzenegger or people like that who inspired Dee. Whereas Slick Black Cadillac, I mean that's just like Queen had a song about my car, right? The one that Roger Taylor sang. So they're kind of going through the same thing, but I like the sentiment of that, and just if you're a fan of hard rock and then you pick up on these things and like, oh, that's really cool. So I'm going with the Queen song. I mean, Quiet Riot, and they both have start with a Q. So Quiet Riot, Slick Black Cadillac. Now the end of side one, we got Life's a Bitch by Quiet Riot. I was going to say Queen again. And Street Justice by Twisted Sister. Now, Street Justice song is about he's telling a story of a kid who gets an innocent child who gets killed, who gets knifed in broad daylight, and no justice is being taken care of. And so he's kind of like, it's a pro-vigilante song. You could hear him the mob getting together, and they're just going to take care of business themselves. So that's what this is. It's sort of just like that's like an 80s movie in itself. Life's a Bitch is, ends that side very mellow, and it's not to the point where it's like a power ballad, but it's very more of a 70s vibe to it again. 70s vibe, a slow song. But it's I think it ended the side really well, more than Street Justice did on the Twisted Sister album. So I'm going with Quiet Riot. So side one is pretty much the Quiet Riot dominated that with four tracks to one, which was the We're Not Gonna Take It song. Okay, so let's go with side two now. So what I usually do is, like, I started off listening to all the side one of the Quiet Riot album. Then I listened to side one of the Twisted Sister album. Then after that, I just start on and keep going with Twisted Sister. So I'll start the next side with just listening to them, and then I'll listen to Quiet Riot. So there's a even Steven kind of thing going here. So starting off with side two with I Wanna Rock, and by Twisted Sister, and for this one it was Breathless. Now I Wanna Rock, it was a that's a song that's an anthem that everyone kind of knows from this album as well. And the video was really cool when the teacher was asking the kid, like, well, what do you want to do with your life? He said, I want to rock. And it was fucking cool. Breathless, it's a great song to start on side two for the Quiet Riot song. And it's very reminiscent of, to me, it's very, very reminiscent of like a immigrant song, and by Zeppelin, and Barracuda by Heart, that kind of galloping kind of 70s thing vibe that they got going on that song. And it was and he's also kind of screaming out at the beginning of this song, Kevin DeBrow. And so that thing, yeah, see, there we go again. It's just like it's heavy metal, but then this album was more rooted to like 70s rock. And no, I mean, like I said before, yeah, I like how bands, especially them, that they're just wearing it on their sleeve and they don't care. But for, I don't know, I'm just going to take the anthem of I Wanna Rock. I mean, that's, it's just so iconic too. It's just like, it was a great song. It's quick, it's 3 minutes, to the point, bam. Okay, so the next one we got is, on this album, is The Price. And this one we got Run for Cover. Okay, so that's round 7. The Price, now this is a power ballad and it's odd because on this album it's just like, it's been pretty kind of heavy, very more metal than this album actually, the Twisted Sister one. But when they go into this kind of power ballad, it's more about like it predates the whole Wanted Dead or Alive Bon Jovi thing, which would come out later, with the band on that whole scenario where the band is on the road and they're tired and everything like that, and all the sacrifices that they did, and they're paying their dues and that kind of thing, and that's what this kind of song is about. And it's done really well, and it doesn't seem like a power ballad. It is a power ballad, but it doesn't sound like later on how the power ballad by everyone sounded the same. It's still kind of rooted to like 70s kind of music though, so it's done very tastefully. And so other than that, then the Run for Cover song, I'm taking the Run for Cover song is pretty much just a hard rock kind of deep cut. There was really straightforward kind of song. It was just like, I guess some of it is this is probably the one song on there that was just like, I could take it or leave it, kind of song. So the power ballad was really by Twisted Sisters. Where I'm going with is the Price. Now, the next round we have Don't Let Me Down by Twisted Sister, and we have Battle Axe by Quiet Riot. Now, Battle Axe is just a unaccompanied guitar solo thing by Carlos Cavasso. It's electric guitar. It's like a minute and a half or something like that. So it's it's trying to be like another kind of Eruption kind of type piece, whereas Eruption, it's sort of like, this is where all the shredders were coming out at the time, and so I don't know many bands that had were trying to do their take on their little Eruption thing and have their little spotlight song on the album. But this one, it didn't really go anywhere. It would seem like, okay, he's doing some of these runs, he's throwing in a little classical stuff here, but it was just, and then it was very disjointed at best. I mean, with Eruption, he started off with his drummer, with Alex, and it was just like an intro, like, because they're going to showcase something that you've never heard before. And Eddie just pretty much sectioned off this piece of like, he's going to put this little tapping segment here, he's going to go and do this here, he's going to drop some bombs here, whatever. It was very well structured, whereas this is just like, okay, it's just like as if you were just walking into a guitar shop and you're just hearing somebody doodle, playing scales, and that's what the thing was, pretty much, for a minute and a half, Battle Axe. And I think it's the weakest thing on here. It's just like it, kind of slowed the momentum down, because the one thing about it too, going back to the Eruption things, that after Eruption faded out, Eddie threw in a very iconic riff of the Kinks, going into You Really Got Me. So it's just like, it was perfect, to segue into that, where this is segueing into something that you don't really know anyway, and it's not making his solo piece it doesn't bring that one out to make it seem like, oh, it's special. But you know, with Eruption, it's just like it's awesome, and then it's going into an iconic riff, which he's doing his way, you know, into a song that everyone knows. And so that's why every time they play Eruption on the radio, they have to play it with, you know, they have to play it with You Really Got Me, because it just goes hand in hand. And it just seemed like the preceding track on After Battle Axe, it doesn't really hold weight as far as to make it go, okay, well, that was a cool little guitar thing, and now you're going into this next song. And so yeah, I'm taking, you know, Don't Let Me Down. You know, it's just just a deep cut rocker, but you know what, it just going up against Battle Axe, I mean, anything would have won at this point, you know. So going on, we have the track that followed the Battle Axe song is Let's Get Crazy and The Beast. Now, I did pick Let's Get Crazy. It stands out on its own, you know, for one thing, and it's just a great party anthem. You know, it's sort of just like in the same vein as Mental Health, and it has that same feel, you know, with the cool, rhythm section again, and that, you know, you could hear Rudy grooving on, you know, and The Beast is just it was just a pretty much another song about, it had a very Alice Cooper thing to it again, and it's just pretty much talking about like, you're either the victim or the victimizer or the prey or the hunter kind of type song, and are you gonna be the beast, or you just, and it's forgettable at most. I mean, compared to the Let's Get Crazy song, you know, that there's the party anthem there. And then which brings us to the last round, and that's SMF by Twisted Sister versus Thunderbird. Now, SMF, it doesn't say what SMF means. It doesn't say SMF as far as like the words sick motherfucker. You just have to come across that yourself, put it together like, okay, sick motherfucker. It's just SMF, SMF. And so with that, it was kind of like, if nobody was thinking that, but I just pretty much also looked it up just to, double check, well, what the fuck does this mean, and it's about, the black sheep, it's the outlaw, that kind of thing, and it had like a Dirty Deeds kind of feel to it by AC/DC, which was cool. Now, Thunderbird, as an ending track, is, there you go again, it starts off with a piano, Queen kind of feel to it, like, a Bohemian Rhapsody or Save Me, much more like from the game, and Beth by Kiss. It starts off like that, and it's very, very kind of 70s kind of feel to it again. And then it has like, these big choruses, and so Thunderbird is a great anthem going on the album. It's a great album closure all together. And I took Quiet Riot over Sick Motherfucker, SMF, and all they do is yell out SMF, and it's kind of ridiculous. But so between the Quiet Riot album and the Twisted Sister, this is the one, 6-4. There's 6 tracks, and I think what really lacked about this was that Battle Axe thing. You could have put something else in place of that. I think it suffered more because of that. But all in all, this album seemed very not as going into it as metal as this one. This one seemed more melodic. I was thinking like maybe this should have went up against Pyromania or something. It's very more similar to that. by Def Leppard, because it's very melodic. This, and then they you know, they're taking things from like classic rock bands and throwing it in the stew, which is cool. And you know, whether it's covering a Slade song, but throughout the whole album. And then, you know, I mean, Eruption is from the 70s, right? So so he's doing his little battle axe thing. So I mean, so I guess that makes sense. But all in all, and as far as covers go, this is the one. I mean, like, I like that that mask, especially in the videos, in the early days watching these videos, and that dude with the mask, the kid. This one, you know, this is an OG copy, whereas this one is a, I got this at Barnes & Noble. And it comes with the poster with the guys. And I just kind of leave this kind of stuff in there, but I don't know. It's just kind of cool though. Yeah, this we remembered them. There's the added bonus on that, right? This was a cool pink vinyl too. Yeah. Sounds really good. But it's not a bad album. I'm being pitted against Quiet Riot, you know, I guess. And I mean, I was kind of revisiting both of them again, but this one is definitely worthy of like listening to again. And comment below, what do you think? Do you think the Quiet Riot one should have been Twisted Sister more? Is it rocks more, or is it? I mean, I'm a sucker for melody. I mean, there's tons of that on here, but you know, comment below. Do you think Twisted Sister is the album? Like, share, and you know, if you want to hear some more of this kind of content, then you know, subscribe to the channel, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Take care.